over with so we can be done.
Yep.
Hi, everybody. How are you today?
What's up, everybody?
Happy July 3rd. Okay. S- Um, so we wanted to go over a couple things today. We want to talk about Nancy Grace being unhinged. We're going to talk about the whole Diddy charges again. We're going to talk about that. And Perry's going to talk about the word of how much time he's really going to get. And then we're going to talk about Remy Ma. Remy Ma is really probably the one of the most ruthless women on the internet. I'm not even trying to be funny or mean. It is what it is. All right, so let's get into the Nancy Grace thing first. Okay, so yesterday was emotional for a lot of people because that's when we found out if the Rico was going to stick, if he was going to go to jail and stuff like that, right? So, but let me give you a little perspective of my life, me and Perry's life as older people, okay? When I tell you guys, I don't give a damn about teams 40 and over. You're not, who cares what everybody else thinks? It's about what you think, how you feel. But when you're younger, popularity is so important. How the rest of the other people think, how big is your side and all this stuff. And I'm trying to tell you, I say it on a daily basis. Stop. I don't do teams. It's dumb. When you grow up, that's the least thing you're worried about. As a mature woman, an old lady, I have to, on a daily basis, make sure everybody around me is okay. If there's a problem with someone's car, who they're going to call? Mom and dad. We have responsibilities that you wouldn't believe. So I became unhinged yesterday because I was so upset about what people's focus was in this trial. I'm trying to tell you guys, hey, there's a bigger picture here that y'all need to worry about. And you guys, not all, but some, insisted they wanted to argue about Cassie being a victim and Diddy being a bad guy and all of that stuff. To be honest, it was the least thing on my mind. When I was talking about women being responsible for your choices, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah, I'm sure you guys probably feel the people that are supporting Cassie, you feel sorry for her and she, is didn't have any doing of the making of her life. That's just not true. I'm trying to say this as calm as I can and just put it in the back of your head because one day you'll say, hey, that's what that lady said on YouTube. Maybe 18 and under, you're not responsible for your life. You're under your parents' wing or whoever. But 18 and over, when there's a problem, you have to look at yourself in the mirror too. I'll say this again as gently as I can today, and maybe you will understand this. You are not going to urinate in my mouth. That's a decision I've made already before I'm even put in that spot. When you allow that to happen to you, you put yourself in that situation. I'm not bashing Cassie. I'm saying Cassie got herself in a bad spot. And so that's what I was talking about yesterday, but I didn't even want to talk about that. And y'all kept wanting to talk about that. You're shaming the victim. You're shaming the victim. And let me repeat this one more time. If you are a person that has suffered from DV, it's consuming. It's a lot of emotions. It's a life of hell and misery. Really, it's a life of hell and misery. And you have to, if you say, I'm the victim and I want to join these groups and all we want to do is go after men, healing can't start. if you hate all men. Healing cannot start. Sometimes those groups become very toxic. I was talking to other bloggers yesterday. If they thought you said something bad about Cassie, and they do that because they feel power in numbers. And I was trying to tell you guys, listen, don't look at your accuser. We're talking about Diddy, whole separate situation. So that's what I was talking about yesterday. And it was very upsetting to me because y'all want to talk about teams and uh, lock them up for life. And there was a bigger picture, and I'm getting ready to talk about the bigger picture today, which is this Mann Act. Perry, you have anything to add to what I said?
Oh, no, I was just going to say what you're saying is that this is not about teams. And even though you have the right, and it's your opinion based off your life to side with Cassie or not, or I mean, basically, yeah, side with her, meaning believe her story. And yeah, you have ground, you have some solid points that, yeah, she sounds like a woman that could be doing this, but most scammers do sound trustworthy, right? It's just things you can say. It's based on opinions. And as much as you can feel like Cassie was this kind of woman because you had a cousin that was like that or whatever, that's your experience. But I have experienced a lot of liars, people who do anything for a click and a view or a dollar. So when I examine it, I suck it in based off my life, like in my life experiences. And I understand you guys might do it too. But just listen to what we're saying. And I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'll sit there later tonight and let it filter through. But it was a bigger picture. We're talking about the Ricos and things like that. A lot of people want to change the narrative as if we saying Diddy had this wonderful, his character was great. No, we're talking about the case, and that's what we was covering. But go ahead, Sharrell.
All right. So this is what I was talking about yesterday when I said it was very important that that RICO did not stand. And it's important because you don't want that to be the new law. If you look back in the last 3 years, this RICO Act has been used on rich African American men. Okay. And so when I'm saying that they are passing bills behind our back, it's like you guys don't think about the bigger picture. You're like, get Diddy, get Diddy. They gonna get Diddy, and they gonna get this one and this one, and that could be your father, your son, your brother. It's a bigger picture. So they end up dropping the RICO, but they get them on the, I think it's called like transportation across state lines. And that's probably just as bad or worse. They call it the Mann Act or they call it the White Slave Act. Okay. This law was developed or came into existence because of a Black man named Jack Johnson. You see, y'all don't want to know y'all history. We got to know the history. When they took it out of the schools, that did a lot of damage. They designed a law because there was this boxer named Jack Johnson, and he was winning. He was very, very good, and he was making a lot of money back then. This started in, I believe, 1910. I have a little clip. And they designed this law, and they said, this is for Jack, who's getting too big for his britches. We got to knock him down a couple of inches. We got to make him humble. Specifically for African American men. Now, I don't want no laws like that. This is how they slipped these laws into existence. If they came on the floor, on the Congress floor, and they said, can we get anybody to vote for us to put African American men in jail for whatever reason, no one's going to vote for that. But if they can get you to turn on your own kind and you're going to support it, now this is going to set new precedent. You're going to be hearing about the Mann Act so many times because of this P. Diddy case. And this was designed because they didn't want him, they wanted to humble him, and they didn't want him dating white women. Right? Because since the beginning of time, there's been interracial dating, but it wasn't, you could not let anybody know back then, right? And so he was dating these white women. So they create a law that says he is going to cross state lines to make these white women prostitutes. So I need you guys to understand that. I got a little clip, and hopefully this can explain it.
Mr. Jack Johnson must conduct himself in a modest manner. He can hurt the race immeasurably just now if he goes splurging and making a useless, noisy exhibition of himself. We hope that he will not be arrested on any charge. Any undue exhibition on the part of Mr. Johnson will hurt every member of the race. On the other hand, becoming modesty and self-control will win him many friends. The New York Age.
Modesty was never part of Jack Johnson's makeup. Neither was self-control. Everywhere the champion went, trouble now seemed to follow. Some of it stirred up by his enemies, some of his own making.
And certain unfair persons piqued because I was champion, decided if they could not get me one way, they would another.
2 years earlier, a new federal law had gone into effect. The Mann Act was named for its sponsor, Illinois Republican Congressman James Robert Mann. It barred the transportation of women in interstate or foreign commerce for the purpose of prostitution or debauchery, or for any other immoral purpose. A landmark of progressive era legislation, the Mann Act was intended to stop the luring of young women into prostitution, what was called the white slave traffic, not private relationships between consenting adults. But officials of the Justice Department saw in it their chance to destroy Jack Johnson. By October of 1912, Johnson had a new companion, a 19-year-old prostitute from Milwaukee named Lucille Cameron. When her mother, Mrs. F. Cameron Falconet, came to Chicago and went to the police, charging Johnson with abducting her daughter, the Justice Department's Bureau of Investigation agreed to take the case.
Let me pause this for a minute because I had to edit out the N-word. They refer to us as the N-words, okay? I had to edit it out. You know, it's not YouTube friendly. But that's what they called us back then. And so this law was designed specifically for Jack Johnson or African-American men who they called us the N-words back there. And they just said it. I wasn't offended when I heard it and they're saying in the biography because that's what they said all the time back then. Let's keep going.
Jack Johnson has hypnotic powers, Mrs. Cameron Falconet assured the press, and he has exercised them on my little girl. I would rather see my daughter spend the rest of her life in an insane asylum than see her the plaything.
It was never aimed at an individual having a liaison with a secretary going from New York to Hoboken. It was aimed at commercialized vice. And the Attorney General of America, a man by the name of Wickersham, knew this. And when he was first approached to use this against Jack Johnson, he understood that we can't do this, that this is a trap.
So when they approached the Attorney General back then, he said, y'all want a law just for black men so they would stop ruining our Caucasian women. And it was designed to knock them down a step or two because they were getting too big for he was getting too big for his britches, whatever that means. They didn't want to see any self-confidence in him as an African-American man, or the N-word as they used back then. See,
too big for your
the
britches.
laws are the new ways of racism. It's in the justice system. This is the conversation I wanted to have yesterday. It went all out of whack. We have to be careful. Don't let them pass laws that they can use just to lock up African American men. I'm very worried about that because they're building these new prisons, especially the one on Alcatraz. Let's keep going.
Travesty. But eventually, Wickersham was convinced to go after Jack Johnson, to pervert the law.
On October 18th, 1912, Chicago police arrested Johnson for violating the Mann Act.
So that's what they're trying to do now, okay? They want laws that will make it very easy to lock up African American men. And no white person has been charged with this law. So I thought y'all might want to know about it. Yeah. y'all might want to know about them specifically passing these laws right now behind our back. Okay, they're passing a lot of laws behind our back, not just Black people laws. They're also passing laws so we don't be a free country anymore. I talked about that enough yesterday. We don't know when we'll get or if we'll ever get another leader because of the WAR. Okay, now, so he ends up leaving the country, but then he came back. He went to jail and all of that. Now, this is odd. Let's fast forward to 2025, hundreds of years later. Okay, 47 comes into power. And I don't know if he did this because he needed a certain percent of the Black population, but he really was reaching for the Black vote. Okay. Yeah. And he says this, and it's really weird. I'll play a little bit of that. He said that the justice system is not designed for the African Americans. It's 47. He's not too fond of us, okay? But on that point right there, he was telling the truth. It was wrapped up in some weirdness. Take a look.
It's so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there, but I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. But
when he said that, I was done. We see the black one. I was very, very offended. But let's keep listening.
I got indicted for nothing, for something that is nothing. They were doing it because it's election interference. And then I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against, and they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated. Pretty amazing. I don't know, maybe there's something there. Black conservatives understand better than most that some of the greatest evils in our nation's history have come from corrupt systems that try to target and subjugate others to deny them their freedom and to deny them their rights. You understand that? I think that's why the black people are so much on my side now, because they see what's happening to me happens to them. Does that make sense? The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. They do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing.
He's saying that the black people need justice reform because the laws are unjust. Now, he could be saying this, because I was very offended when he said this, that since he's been sued and going through his problems with the law, now he understands black people, or they understand him better. Like, that's all we do is, get arrested and talk about laws. But he was not wrong when he said the laws are unjust.
Right. But he didn't see that until something happened to him, and to where the laws was bent to find a loophole to come after him. And like he said, blacks understood because blacks always been treated that way. But he didn't have a problem with it, or he overlooked it because he never had that issue. And that's what we saying. Like when people screaming this Rico, oh no, hem him up with it. You saying that when it's going towards somebody else, and you're not putting yourself that in the mindset that one day it's gonna be in your community. They're gonna be able to bend these same rules against your ass, right? So
They made a whole law because they thought a black man had too much arrogance, too much self-confidence.
right.
They made a law because they thought a black man had too much confidence. Too big for his britches, were the exact words that they said.
Right. And too big for your britches is thinking that you're bigger than the word they used to call us back there, a black guy. Like, know your role. They didn't like the fact that he could speak back to them, that he could drive a nice car, that he had, you know, this attention on him. And then they really hated the fact that he was getting with their property. And I say property because they don't even look at women like they're women as women. They look at them as property, in my opinion. So all this is crazy that he come out with this whole crazy thing now. Oh, now I know what it's like to be black. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You just had one experience that made you think, damn, they bending this stuff on me. And now he wanted to go back and use it to act like he can relate to us. But he ain't changed nothing for us right now. Now,
Well, he's trying to get rid of any acts or any laws that you can go to jail for a long time for sex acts, sleeping with prostitutes. He's trying to get rid of all of that because he felt that he was a target. So he goes on and he decides to give a pardon. This is a symbolize of Jack. Oh, did I get the video of Jack Johnson? He says what happened to him was wrong, and we need to acknowledge that. Yeah, I don't make the rules. This is weird. I'm listen. If you voted for 47, that's your thing that you do. I am not a fan at all. I find this ironic that now he claims he wants to get rid of all of these prostitution and sex laws. You know why he's doing it, because of what happened to him. But I thought it was weird that he acknowledged that the laws are unjust when it comes to African Americans. They will create a whole law to humble your ass. And y'all talking about teams. What? That's why I was so frustrated yesterday. No, we need to talk about they got to stop passing laws behind our backs. I really want the young people to get it. You got to get it. Y'all worried about all of this and that and team this and team that when there's a bigger picture here. Now, as far as Cassie's concerned, do I think she's a victim? I do not. But we live in a country where I'm allowed to say that. But because somebody doesn't agree with you, you guys lose it. Disrupt the meaning because there are real women that's suffering. Some women use tears as weapons to gain your sympathy. I happen to believe that about Cassie. You may not believe that. But do I get crazy and start just, oh, you're this, you're that, because you don't think like me, and y'all need to grow up. People can have different opinions. What I thought was going to happen is that we were going to enlighten the younger generation and let them know I bet you if I ask anybody right now under 40, what bills are on the floor right now waiting to be passed, not one person gonna answer that damn question under 40. Not one. That's the stuff you should be worried about. Hi, Beatrice. Felon 47 is full of They just passed the big ugly in the bill. He wouldn't have to listen to any judges, police. Oh, and we're letting it happen. We're letting it happen. Nobody's saying anything. We're worried about Team Diddy or Team Cassie. It was so many things wrapped up in this one case. It wasn't even funny. So yeah, we didn't get the RICO, which is a huge, huge relief. And when I say that's a big victory for the defense, how many times this year have they tried to use RICO? So now if you want to bring somebody to court, you're going to have to put them on the floor. If you want to charge somebody with DV, make it about DV.
Right.
It's sad and depressing and shameful that these brainwashed, delusional minions of 47 has sold their soul to the devil. I think what's even worse is that our youth are uneducated. They don't know. They want, and they insist on this team mentality. So when I say that these women who get into groups and they say, we're victims of DV, and when I tell them, no, you're not, if you claim it, it will become your reality. If you don't fix it, you won't grow. So when you get in these groups and we are all taking our power back, and you got to talk as a group, you're not taking your power back. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and start doing some soul searching, because these groups can become very toxic. And somebody sent me a video to play, and she was saying how she didn't believe Cassie, and she felt that Cassie was a manipulator, and how they tried to make that, you know, they'll pounce on you. They don't want to hear your voice because you don't think like me. Well, hell, none of y'all think like me. Y'all letting laws just go slip through your hands. And nobody's saying anything about it. Nobody's saying anything about it. If you want to heal, you got to acknowledge some things. So them women that are not healed and don't have the strength to do it on their own, they need some help. When you start saying you hate all men, something's wrong. Something wrong. You have to heal yourself, and you don't do it as a big mob that goes around bullying people because they don't think like you think. When I was telling women, no, you're powerful in your own right. Don't let nobody take your power away. It's like I said something bad. I was like, you could tell you don't have to do something just because a man tell you to do it. And somebody said, you're raising your daughter to not need a husband by telling her she doesn't need a man. No, I said that you have to be whole before you could be whole and become a union. When you tell yourself, I can't, you won't.
Right.
When you tell yourself, I'm weak, you are. That's something I don't allow in my household. From anybody. If you want to do something, but I can't. If you shoot yourself down before anybody else gets a turn, that's a problem. It's a problem. So it's a lot. It's a lot going on. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. This Mann Act is now the new precedent. So, you know, if they want to bring you down, if you're too big for your britches, they're going to let you know it. And they're going to do it through the laws. Perry, what are your thoughts about what I said today?
Oh, no, I agree with you. I mean, look, you just trying to, empower some people who might feel like they don't have power, whether they was groomed or, when people say groomed, when they feel inside that I must do what this person tell me to do. I must follow no, you have a choice. Now, if this choice tell you is in your best interest or for what your needs are, then maybe. But she's just telling people, younger people, do not fall into this trap where you feel like you need a man or a person that bad that you would swallow your morals and you would just surrender. You only live once, is what she's saying. Do not feel like you must follow somebody else's directions because you do have a choice. And if you would have came and said yesterday, no, you must follow this person's direction. You need a man to lead you. Then you'll get people to clap back and say, no, I don't. You sitting there trying to inspire a person, say, hey, you know what? I know you could have been going through some rough times when you made these choices, but you're stronger than that. You get clapped back for that, right?
I did.
It's sort of crazy, which maybe not today. We can't get too much into a conversation about it. But when people feel this way, at the end of the day, this is how I feel shortly, is that it is a choice, maybe an unconscious choice, when people in any situation, not blaming the people, just saying, hey, it's still a choice. People say, hey, no, I didn't have a choice. You had one. You just thought out of fear that it wouldn't be a good move or whatever it was, but you had a choice. And then oftentimes, before you get that deep, we overlook signs that this guy's awful controlling, and we just roll with it because we think he's cute or whatever the case may be. But
Or he's rich.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short.
Right.
I totally agree with Miss Precious here. Yes, suing that company. He got too big for his britches. Don't y'all see what role Diageo plays in this?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, y'all. We can see it. We're not as dumb as they want us to be. Now, that's all I'm going to say on that subject, because I got a bigger subject to talk about. Let's talk about Nancy Grace. Okay. Nancy. Someone asked me one day if I liked, I think it was yesterday, what I thought of Nancy Grace. Do I like Nancy Grace? No, it was about a month ago. Do I like Nancy Grace? What do I think about Nancy Grace? And I said, well, I guess she's okay. I like her. She has a tick, tick, boom in her head, but I guess, she's fighting for victims. And then I think I started my looking into her background here when we found out that she lied about her book. She used to call herself a victim. She's not a victim of anything. This woman is starting to become a cancer to the internet. Okay. She, like I said, she tells false stories. She lies. Remember, she was talking about Diddy and the whole Tupac thing, and she was getting the names mixed up. And she's all about the grandiose, the worse I can make the story. She's about the numbers. She's about, if I got to toss a little line there, if I got to talk to somebody disrespectful, then that's what I got to do. And that's what she does all the time. She's extremely disrespectful. And when she gets in her head that she's right or a person is guilty, she will ride you till she can't ride you no more. Or first of all, Mrs. Grace, you're not God. So you don't know if a person is guilty or not unless there's evidence, but she'll go on and she will ride you every day. And then I found out about this case. I can't even remember the girl's name. Do you guys remember when Nancy got sued for riding a woman every day, saying that the woman unalived her son, and ultimately hours after the interview, the woman unalived herself? Do you guys remember this? The way that she's acting in this Diddy case, like he's guilty and I'm gonna ridicule him, like he don't have no children. Also, too, I think, you know, I don't want to say it, but she's unhinged, and everybody knows she's unhinged. So I want to play these things just because I just think she's a disgrace.
She's a clout chaser.
Is that
And
what you call her?
you know what? If I had to sum it up right now, this is what I think about Nancy Grace. I think she's a professional victim
I know.
that uses somebody else's trauma for attention.
Yeah.
And I also think she's a
Karen alert.
I'm just gonna tell you, I'm saying that's my true opinions. Now,
Mhm.
could I be wrong? Yes, I don't personally know her, but by how she moved, how I watch her show, because people would use somebody else's trauma when people like come in and think we against we for DV and stuff like that.
I know,
People,
that's crazy.
people use this stuff for clicks and attention. They all overnight become an advocate for justice, but really they're an advocate for their pockets, for the attention.
She's not a victim. She's not a victim. You got caught lying, Nancy Grace. You're not a victim. She's really a cancer to the culture with this Diddy case because she won't stop. Just look at these disgraceful.
Honey, it's pouring down outside.
I hear it. It's bad. It never rains this bad in Vegas in the summertime. Let's start with the woman that so they're saying that Nancy rode this woman so hard that she unalived herself. They ended up suing her for $200,000. And I believe part of the thing was like they had to come out and say, well, she didn't unalive herself because of Nancy, because technically we don't know why anybody does this to themselves. You shouldn't put yourself in that position to even have to answer that question. You shouldn't ride anybody because you think that somebody's guilty without any evidence. And here you go, nailing somebody to the cross like you're so perfect, causing someone or just having it in the same vicinity. You were the last interview that she did.
From CNN talk show host Nancy Grace. She now says that the mother of missing toddler Trenton Duckett prepped for her TV interview and wasn't caught off guard at all. Duckett's estate is suing Grace, accusing her of driving Melinda to West 2's Gail Pasco-Brown is live in the newsroom with the late-breaking details. Gail?
Well, Jim, as you mentioned in the family's lawsuit, they contend Melinda Duckett was ambushed and pushed over the edge on the Nancy Grace show back in 2006. Now, this particular exhibit, says that Trenton Duckett's mother had prepared responses to questions ranging from her interaction with local law enforcement to taking the polygraph.
The documents recovered by then lead investigator Leesburg Police Detective Richard Giles includes information from Melinda Duckett's laptop and scripted responses for the Nancy Grace interview. According to the court records, the talking points, which say, from a mother's point of view, include the following topics: husband, emotions, suspects, coping with. Where Melinda Duckett writes, honestly, there is no actual coping in this matter. My son is my life, and with him gone, the only thing I can do is exist.
Why aren't you telling us and giving us a clear picture where you were before your son was kidnapped?
Hours before this interview aired September 7th, 2006 on CNN's Nancy Grace show, Melinda Duckett committed at her grandparents' home. In their lawsuit, Melinda Duckett's family claims Nancy Grace and her staff lured Duckett to the show on false pretenses, then subjected her to severe emotional distress with their aggressive line of questioning, which led to Trenton Duckett's mother. In a previous interview, Nancy Grace has said she has no regrets.
No, I do not. I only wish that I could have questioned her more.
Attorneys for Nancy Grace wants a federal judge to throw out the family's wrongful death lawsuit, citing Melinda Duckett was prepared with talking points and scripted her own performance.
The cockiness.
Yeah.
She's a cancer to the Black community because now she's covering this Diddy case. And she is saying offensive things, and she's trying to get the worst out of people, and she wants you guys to just act like, you know, animals and really tearing him for her ratings. If you ask Nancy Grace, name me one Diddy song, she couldn't do it. If you said to her, name me one Biggie song, name me one Tupac song, but you're going to sit up here and get the story mixed up about Tupac Shakur. I'm saying mixed up. Other people will call you a liar. Other people will call you a liar. So I'm warning my people. She's not for us. She's unhinged.
Okay.
She's unhinged. Let me play this. She made fun of Diddy's private parts. She thought that was so funny. She just couldn't stop laughing. If we sat up here and talked about your breasts, now we're a bunch of animals that don't know how to treat women. She thought it was funny. Let me see if I can find this video. Like, what is wrong with this woman?
Flying over
that is inappropriate. Maybe this one. Let's see if this is it.
She says she didn't think it would hurt as much due to his lack of length and girth. So she is comparing Combs' penis to a Tootsie Roll. And later in that same lawsuit, she refers to him as itty bitty Diddy.
Okay, Rob Shooter, testimony aside, there's really no coming back from that for Diddy. Ever since I started investigating Sean Combs, all I've thought about was candy, candy, candy. You know what? I can barely open this Tootsie Roll midgie. And last question, did you ever see one of these?
No,
anything like it. Let me unwrap it. Anything like that I've seen.
There was a conscious effort for my peripheral vision to stay above the neckline.
She's talking about his private parts. If we would have talked about her vagina,
right,
she'd be all over the place.
And she running around looking like Chucky, but then she want to come out here for real. Like, I'm just saying, look, this pisses me off, right? The itsy bitsy, and she's going off. You don't have that right. Oh, I would love to like to have one. Yeah, you might, because you probably ain't getting shit at home. And while you sitting here running the streets and want to just try to criticize somebody, have you seen it? Do you want to go to the freak off?
Yeah.
Come on now. I'm just saying, she's out there, but I'm telling you, she's lacked attention at home. So she's going back on now on YouTube to try to gain some fame, to get some attention. All the lying, all the dramatics. And
yeah,
that you don't know shit, you a liar. She's a liar, a professional victim. Because she probably still can't tell you today why she's so upset. She's cuckoo.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she has a tick tick boom in her head. She has probably some kind of mental health problem, because one, when you found out that somebody unalived themselves, and it possibly because of your interview, your whole concern was that they didn't say it was you. You didn't come out and say, "Oh, I feel so bad about what." None of that. And everybody knows you ride people until they break. But can you handle it? This is an interview she did with one of my favorite attorneys, Joe Tacopino. And she has a reputation for being unhinged. No networks want to mess with her anymore. She's a liability.
Appreciate what you're doing, Tacopina. You're defending. That's what you're paid to do. But you're just dead wrong.
Well, look,
I'm not paid to defend him here. I actually chose not to defend him here, Nancy Grace. But I'm analyzing the law, and a jury is not going to be quick to accept Bad Boy Entertainment.
Somebody's getting mad. You get to turn red in the face and your eyes bulge out again.
Well, come on,
I can't
Nancy.
wait.
Nancy, come on.
At least my eyes move, Nancy. At least my eyes move. Relax.
Did you see her?
Look at her now. Psycho. It's like that weird neighbor next door. And she needs to worrying about a Tootsie Roll. Change that hairdo that you don't have since the mid-'80s.
It's like she wasn't professional at all. She's making fun. She's trying to antagonize it. Ooh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? This woman should not be on YouTube. We have dealt with your cancer behavior for years on the networks, but now you're bringing the cancer to YouTube. You talked about somebody's private parts, made a joke out of it. You shouldn't be talking about anybody in any kind of physical way.
And go and
It's
get
no
your money.
secret. We look at you every day. You're not the finest thing in the book. You're old. And if I talked about your dried up parts, you would have a fit. Nancy's so dry. I mean, she's unprofessional. She's no good for the culture. And on top of all that, you're a liar. You called yourself a victim. You got called out. You lied in your book. You're a liar. You're feeding us conspiracy theories because you're a weirdo. This was a serious case that had everybody's emotions involved.
Mm-hmm. And maybe
and
that's
you
why
get on here and act a fool.
Maybe you hit on something. Maybe that's why she's so angry. I'm saying it's attention, but maybe it could be a special kind of attention. Maybe she is so dry that she needs some Istro Glide.
Yeah, they're like,
And
Nancy, are you dry as the Sahara Desert? You're pretty old. It's so inappropriate. Go ahead, Terry.
And she's acting like she's an advocate for these people. Who have you saved?
I know.
Nancy, who the hell have you saved? No one. You can't even save yourself. A professional victim. All these years, you could have got some help. You had money to see a psychiatrist because you got a whole bunch of screws loose up here.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
And you down Tootsie Roll. Are you looking for something chocolate? It sounds like it.
It's just embarrassing. And, to make fun of somebody's private parts because you think they're guilty, because you think they're wrong. You think they should suffer. Well, you know what, Nancy? I think you're a nut. And I'm going to talk about it every day until I get tired of talking about it. I'm going to take a script from your book. Nancy Grace is unhinged. She needs some kind of medical clearance to be on the internet because she is a cancer. She's a liar. She's a cancer. She's cancer. Her privates are dry as the Sahara Desert. She doesn't douche. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. She probably smells down there. I mean, come on. Who would say these things? I'm giving you what you give to us. You dry old hag. You like it? You are unprofessional. You need to be off of YouTube. So I want to talk about that. Do you want to add to this? She looks like Felon 47's sister. She does. That's not a joke, Beatrice. She does. Look at the eyebrows. Yeah. She really does look like his sister.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what his sister looked like.
Like Nancy Grace.
Wow.
Nancy Graceless. Nancy Graceless. You bring these African Americans on your show to try to get them to act like a fool. Armand Wiggins wasn't taking it. Y'all need to lay off of Armand, by the way.
She's trying to export them. She's using these blacks to gain views. She don't give a damn. She never lived next to a minority. And she's privileged, a liar. But if it's white is right, I'm gonna go. I mean, because I think she went foul with Armand and did something. Armand wouldn't take her stuff. He would speak up. It was something happened where she was trying to guide him to talk her craziness, and he wouldn't. And I respect him for that. The hell with Nancy.
Yeah. Also, too, I wanted to mention Armand Wiggins really quick. Armand, you look, the baby oil. So what? You covered this case every day like a pro. Don't let these people bring you down. Their head is in the wrong place. Armand is Team Diddy. Oh, he put the baby. Armand did the best coverage. He did better than Nancy Graceless.
Right.
Y'all gotta stop with the teams.
He did.
He did better than Nancy Graceless. This is your time, Armand. You got next. I hope you blow up beyond your wildest dreams. You did a great job. Don't listen to dry ass Sahara Desert hater, liar, Nancy Grace Graceless.
Yeah.
Girl don't have an ounce of class in her body.
And I would say the same thing to Amon at this point too, right? I mean, because I know how I can get. You do something that people want to make something out of it that it wasn't. Amon covered this case. All the shows I said, I didn't see all his shows, but a lot of them I would go and check in. And I was like, Amon, damn, I mean, he had Cassie's back. He did it fairly, right? And he'll have fun with his crowd. That's his personality. That's what he's supposed to do. Him putting that baby oil don't have no outcome on what he was hoping for. He was having fun. Like, that man can't have fun, but I think it's a bigger picture. I think it's other content creators that feel threatened by him trying to, push him.
Oh boy, do they. They are threatened.
Keep doing your thing, homeboy. I mean, it is what it is. I feel you did a good job, but we all know we ain't for everybody.
And I'll say this to Armand Wiggins. What's meant for you is meant for you. Ain't nobody stopping you. Great job. Anyway, let me do my last one. I want to talk about the black version of Nancy Grace, okay? The unhinged Remy Ma, okay? Something wrong with Remy. And the sooner y'all realize that, the sooner we can get past it. Something wrong with Remy Ma, okay? And I'm not just being mean to her. Just like y'all thought I was being mean to Cassie. No, you could tell when somebody has a screw loose. Okay? Remy Ma, something wrong with Remy Ma. She feels no emotion. She feels nothing for anybody. Y'all thought that y'all were shocked. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
You thought you guys were shocked because she cheated on Papoose for who waited for her while she was locked up for pow-powing her friend. Let me see if I have that tape. Let me give you an example. Let me see if I have it of what kind of person Remy Ma is. She feels nothing. So she pow-powed her very, very good friend and thought nothing of it. Just nothing.
While Makita is rushed to the hospital where she is clinging to life. So within only 24 hours of shooting her friend, Remy turned herself in to the police. She claims that the shooting was an accident.
Remy is charged with a list of crimes, including 2 counts of first-degree assault.
Meanwhile, Makita's family is keeping vigil by her side. The bullet did a lot of damage when it went into Makita, and she was in intensive care. After a month, Makita was released from the hospital and she was left partially paralyzed, as you can see. And to add insult to injury, Remy came up with this defense that Makita shot herself so that she can come out with a big payday. So 9 months later, Remy is sentenced to 8 years for intentional assault. And back then, from behind bars, Remy was trying to proclaim her innocence on the radio.
I don't care if 12 million say guilty. I'm not telling y'all, all right, I'm wrong and I'm sorry for something that I didn't do. I don't gotta shoot no girls. I treat all my friends with nothing but respect and love. This time last year, they was all swimming in my pool. That was nothing but nice to them since day one.
And tired of the freaking lies, Makita gets on the radio and gives her side of the story.
Makita calls the same radio show to tell her side.
It was me and Remy in that car. I know who shot me. She knew what she did. She didn't care. Remy was my girl. That was my girl. Like, if you see her anywhere, like, I was with her. Remy never reached out to me. All I hear is Remy pleading her innocence on the radio. She's doing this, and it killed me.
When you went to prison, you did it for shooting a woman who, wasn't she on Love and Hip Hop with you? Like, Remy, that was so long ago. And so many other things have happened in the world.
No, see, this is the thing. Did not know this girl, wasn't my best friend. All of these things that was said over these years were not true. But once you're in prison, no one cares. And once you come home, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life trying to prove to people like, I didn't know this person. I found out her last name when y'all found out, when y'all read it in the newspaper.
This girl cold. Never apologizes. Pals her friend because she accuses her friend of taking some money out of her purse. Walked away, left her friend in the car hemorrhaging. Does the 8 years, gets out, goes on Wendy Williams and says, I don't even know her like that. Never apologizes. Now it sounds like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Now she's got a son that's being accused of unaliving somebody. And she goes to the damn courthouse to support her son, who everybody's seen in broad daylight, unalive somebody. She goes to support her son, and the victim's daughter is there and asks her, how do you feel about what happened? And Remy threatens the girl, runs up on her like she gonna do something to her. The police had to handcuff her and detain her. You're talking to the victim's children who no longer have their father because of your equally ruthless son. Something wrong with Remy. No, something wrong. Perry, are you just, is it a generational thing? What is wrong with Remy Ma?
No, I mean, I don't think it's generational. I mean, some people are just out there, right? Some people don't give a damn. And obviously she's one. To do this to your friend, like, what kind of temper do you got? I mean, you can't control yourself. But past that, the love she showed her man after years in prison.
Papoose?
Yeah, he had her back to do all this stuff. Then she couldn't wait to go and open her legs up for somebody else. No, I'm just saying, like,
oh my God,
no harm, no foul. I'm good. And then mad because now he want to move on.
Let's listen to her really berate this young girl. This video is not supported. I don't know why.
I mean, like, she's unappreciative. You know what I mean? Like, and some people go through life on that path until the day they're gone. Some people won't even try.
What do you think her problem is? What is her problem? Just heartless. Just heartless.
Yeah, I don't know that much about her background, but I can see she's very unappreciative.
Yeah, let me see if I can play this now on TikTok because my video won't play. Let me see if this will work. Something wrong with her. This. I never seen nothing like it. I really haven't. Let's see.
Watch. Yeah, okay. We could test her right now. Right now, ugly. Everything. Trying to beat you up too. Trying to beat you up. Come downstairs. You know you in front of the courthouse trying to act like you're tough. Yeah, stop. Yeah, let's go around the corner. Come on, let's go around.
That's beyond ghetto. That's beyond ghetto. You want to beat up the victim?
Wow.
I never heard anything like it. Something is wrong with Remy Ma. Let's see if I got this one. And her son. I really like Papoose. I think that Clarissa is good for him. I think he needs to run and not look bad. What are your thoughts on that, Perry?
Well, no, I mean, that threw me off. Like, damn. I mean, is it at a point, even say when she was younger, and had a temper, you still haven't fixed it. You snapping at the wrong thing. And it's almost like she'll fight for anything and then swear out she's right. Like,
nah, it's deeper than that. Something wrong with Remy Ma.
Damn.
Wrong. You pal your best friend and never acknowledge it. When everybody, the club was full, everybody seen you. Let me see if I got to say about this one. Something wrong with Remy. And then think I'm done. Let's see this.
For me, like, girl, like you would have thought I did something to you. Realistically, I can never speak to my father again. I can never hug him. I can never kiss him. I can never say nothing else to him. You can see your son. You can speak to him. You can hug him. You can say whatever. The fact of the matter is that I see this lady, and she's looking at me with a whole attitude. When I tell y'all ice grilling, as if her son was the victim. Like, miss, where's your remorse? Like, where's your sorriness? Where's your sadness? Like, at the end of the day, I don't care what I go through with nobody. I would never want to see nobody die. I don't give a none of that. Like, they did nothing to you. You and you really acting like you mad about something. Ice grilling somebody. Ugly. Then you acting tough in front of a courthouse. Like, we're gonna go to jail. You've been to jail before. I'm sure you don't want to go back. Like, what are we doing here? Come around the corner. You're really not.
I'm Natasha Verma. 23-year-old Jason Scott has been arrested in connection to a murder in Queens that dates back to 2021. Investigators are looking into the possibility that it was a murder for hire.
All right, Fox 5's Teresa Priolo joins us live from Astoria where the victim lived. Teresa, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Steve and Natasha, residents I spoke to here, they didn't know the victim, but they do know who Remy Ma is, and they're telling us that they hope her celebrity doesn't play into this case. Tonight, we are learning that that victim was allegedly killed by Remy Ma's son, Jason Jace Scott. So here's what we know at this hour. 23-year-old Scott was arrested today on first-degree and weapons charges. It's unclear if he pulled the trigger or if he hired the hit that took the life of Darius Gilbo, who lived here at the Ravenswood houses in Astoria. The crime occurred nearby in broad daylight back in 2021. Gilbo took hits to the head and to the chest. Gilbo had an extensive criminal history. 8 months before, he was indicted in a massive drug trafficking operation. As for Jace Scott, he appeared alongside his mom, Remy Ma, in the hit show Love and Hip Hop. She's one of the biggest names in hip hop and has been since 2006. She also has something of a lengthy rap sheet and has done 6 years in prison on a gun crime.
The whole family's crazy, wouldn't you say? Okay. You should see your face.
No, I mean, Joni says, Pep said that she was on pharmaceuticals. Then the son
believe it.
On pharmaceutical charges. So they must have been, she must have had a whole lot in her system. And maybe she's acting crazy. I don't know. But like you said, she'll never take accountability. It's Papoose that he's gonna lead a relationship when she out there moaning and groaning.
It's crazy.
I just don't get it.
Something wrong with Remy. Maybe she is on some substances. You know, Pap is a good guy. Pap tells the truth. Run. Thank goodness for Clarissa Shields. I love them together. Remy about to go through some stuff, and it looked like her child gonna be locked up for a long time. I don't know what kind of childhood or what kind of family they got, but Papoose, it was not a curse. It was a blessing that she cheated on you. Go handle your business and do not look back. And by the way, we will be following this case of her son. It's only expected to last 3 weeks. I'm gonna cover it. We were going to cover the Brian Koberger, you know, the guy that unalived the college students, but he went and did a plea yesterday, and I'm going to talk about that probably after we come back from the 4th, because we're taking tomorrow off. That's why we came on so late. Any thoughts on these stories, Perry?
No, I mean, she's out there. I mean, look, just unappreciative for one. I really don't know it, but I just know all the things that's been in the blogs about their relationship. She goes there, he held her down. Then the unappreciative. And even if a relationship go bad, why can't, I mean, obviously it's gone bad if you over there spending holidays with your legs up, 7-inch heels on, doing whatever, maybe rapping, right? Then now don't all of a sudden want to bring your ass back home. Why can't he leave? That's how DV situations come along. The man trying to leave, you won't let him leave because now you're jealous of the person that's going to get the benefits that you had, because you know the people that you open your legs wide to ain't going to be there to support you. You know Papoose was. So people always remember that you want to go out there and have your your dinner and your dessert too, or whatever that shit is. You know, I mean, it's just crazy to me.
I forgot that Perry really loves Papoose. He went in. He just went in.
I just feel like this as a man, like, you know, when we talk about Cassie and all that shit, Cassie got benefit. How did Papoose benefit for holding her down? When a man gets true love and shit, this how he get treated? That you can't wait till the next Uber driver pull up to jump in the back? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some bullshit to me.
All right, y'all. Have a happy 4th of July. We'll see y'all on the 5th. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. And we will see y'all on the 5th of July.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.